Hey, everybody. Welcome. Little mic test. Welcome aboard, everybody. Mic test, beer test, glasses test. So cheers to all the Inner Signal supporters. Cheers to everybody. We released the demo video earlier today, which I have pinned at the top of my channel homepage if everybody wants to watch it afterwards. It's only a minute long or so. Demo of two computers, both of them running offline local AIs and able to share data, able to share compressed data. And we're working on a better demo. At least you can see what it looks like. And welcome aboard, everybody. So I feel like I was kind of a one-hit wonder, like the lady who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. I think she said in an interview that she just wanted to write, a great American novel. And then she went off on her way to do other stuff. That's not my stomach. I'm running the dishwasher. Need some clean wine glasses. But yeah, so Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee. So she wrote this great novel that was, for many years assigned in high schools across the country, if not the world. And she did end up, I think, writing a second novel toward the end of her life. So my analogy here is not complete, or it's not perfect. But I think I was a one-hit wonder in the sense that I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And I feel relieved that the thing that was spinning around in my brain, like Oppenheimer style, is now just out there. And it's not perfect yet. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of testing. But now it's no longer up here, and it's no longer, among my team. It's actually out there. It's a discrete, real thing. The scariest thing for a startup is when you're just burning through money and you have an idea of where you're supposed to get to, but you don't actually have it. So it's like I'm burning through money but have nothing tangible to convince myself that I'm not just ripping myself off. But no, it's an incredible little achievement. And if you want to listen to the last two podcasts, audio podcasts, click on the podcast tab or go on my website. And there you go, link to it. So the last two audio podcasts, just listen to those interviews and you'll know everything you need to know about this software product. But now I feel like I can go back to being a journalist and an occasional commentator, glorified wine blogger. I don't love doing math. I love software even less. But there's something exciting about it, something super exciting about getting it right. The only thing I can compare it to is I did gold panning as a kid, a little tourist attraction where they give you a gold pan and you put it in the river and you pan for gold. And I never found any in the tourist pay dirt they give you. I never actually found gold, but like as a kid, internally, you imagine what it would feel like if you got a big gold nugget. And that's what software is. When the software actually compiles and actually does something, and you ask the AIs, is there anything else out there like this? And AIs that had nothing to do with helping you build it, totally, impartial, third-party AIs go, nope, this is clean, new code that does something the world has never seen before. And that's exciting for an adult. So you can go to a casino or you can invest in the stock market, as I already do. And you get some kind of thrill there from the volatility or whatever. But to actually put something out into the world, I used to do a new ebook every year, and then I would promote it to you guys. Just Kindle ebook, $4 or $5, my latest thoughts. And I thought it was cool to do this like yearly kind of bookmark type thing to tell people what I'm working on, what we're researching at former Fulcrum, now Intersignal. And this year, I have no desire to put out a new ebook. You guys can read the ones that we put out last year about installing local AI, because now all that stuff is finally in vogue with Mark Zuckerberg releasing Muse Glimmer, his 30 billion parameter free open weight model. Anybody with a modern laptop or desktop with a single GPU can run Zuck's Muse Glimmer. And our initial testing of it, it's pretty good. We compare it to the best free Chinese models and stuff like the old GPT OSS, which came out from OpenAI. And in comparison to those things, Zuck did good here. The price is right. When it's free, you can't expect the whole world. And it's pretty good, pretty smart. So happy to take any questions or comments. But again, local AI, the stuff that I've been talking about for the last year on this channel and on the podcast, it was kind of a hobbyist fringe thing, because most people who like AI, which is now more than 1 billion people a week using ChatGPT, I find that astounding. More than 1 billion people a week. And then I think a couple 100 million weekly users of Claude, its big rival. And of course, Google has hundreds of millions of Gemini users. So when people hammer out these emails to me, I don't like AI, nobody uses this. You might not use it, but so many people do. I was talking to a person the other day at a bar about ChatGPT and how they use it all the time. People use it, to say that this is some little fringe thing I'm into, like Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering or something. No, this is pretty broad. But yeah, so a year ago, this stuff was coming out from like Chinese open source labs and some teams in Europe. And then OpenAI spit out a free model, GPT-OSS, which is pretty good at the time and still is, although it's not as fast as some of today's. So they come out with the free version, but it wasn't a big thing. And now you have Meta, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, I think $1.5 trillion market cap or something, certainly above $1 trillion. You got Meta releasing this good free model that'll run on a single GPU. So you don't need a data center. You don't need to call home to Zuckerberg's cloud. It actually gives you some computing privacy. And it's just a cool thing to have one of the largest tech companies in the world release an open and free AI brain, basically, that anybody can download and use. And even it has agentic features. So it can do tool calling, meaning it can actually do stuff for you. It can run various apps on your computer if you just tell it to do it. So very impressive. And again, I have a feeling that now, a year later, people are going to be more interested in these concepts. How do you install local AI? A year ago, people didn't even know what that meant. With Zuckerberg at the front lines now with Muse Glimmer, the Treasury Secretary earlier today congratulated him in a tweet on releasing this. So it's definitely getting out there, is my point. It's becoming mainstream. And yeah, exactly. He was a leader back in the day with Llama. He was putting out some good 70B models, I think, was total leader, kind of defined the category, kind of defined this concept of a local open weight community. Yeah, but it's a good day for America, because to have one of our big tech companies release an AI brain, open weight, under the Apache 2.0 license, meaning you can use it, meaning Zuck doesn't own your ass. It's impressive because, again, before that, we were mostly relying on Chinese models, which are still excellent, but you don't have the provenance guarantee. You don't really know where it comes from. And the same with these little labs in Europe, like New Hermes and Mistral and stuff. I think excellent overall, but just not the same level of resources as Meta. Meta can put so much more chips behind pre-training and testing and stuff. So what they spit out today probably cost them at least $500 million to $1 billion to train, if I had to guess, about $500 million to $1 billion. And they give it to us, the people, for free. Of course, you need a computer for all this stuff. So if you're watching this from like a mud hut or something, you got to pay something. You have to buy the right hardware. But even that, we've done videos on the Raspberry Pi 5, which is like a $220 device. That runs LLMs. So it's a new era. Doug is wondering what their profit motive is. I've done some researching on this because I'm curious about that as well. And I think Zuckerberg realizes that the new platform is intelligence. So everybody's going to have one of these, and he would rather have you download his than download Google's or some other companies in the future. So he's willing to lose money on training and developing these and putting them out without charging, which obviously is not the profit maximization move in the short term, because he wants the credibility boost to the point where all the computers in your office or home, if they're running Meta models, you're going to be open to using him for the higher end stuff, for the cloud compute that your computer can't do. And so I think he sees this as a lost leader. This is your first taste for free, knowing or thinking that in 2 years' time, the capability is going to be 10x in terms of what the cloud can do, but the hardware at home might not have caught up. So you're going to be able to do cool stuff at home, but then you're going to be kind of sucked in, and you're going to want to do some stuff in Zuck's cloud. So that's one possibility. The other is pure prestige play. He just wants to show that he's still at the forefront, that it's not just Google and OpenAI leading the charge, that he's actually doing something with shareholder money. I don't know. I don't know what the real justification is, but it's good for everybody else. It's good for the community. Yeah, goodwill, exactly, like branding, goodwill, showing people Meta can do AI. Pretty cool. In full disclosure, within hours of him releasing Muse Glimmer, I bought some Meta stock, even though I'm not usually a big Zuck fan. When somebody pivots and does the right thing, like even Trump, he did some good stuff lately. It's very hard to find the good stuff, but he was right about letting these open models come out. They could have really done what some of the big labs wanted, which was restrict this stuff, and instead they went the opposite direction. And a Chinese company released one, and then again yesterday Zuckerberg released his. And so he makes some good policy moves, but obviously if somebody I don't like pivots, then I like what they do. I don't hold grudges, and I just want to see somebody do more good than harm for this space that we're in, which is artificial intelligence and technology more broadly. I find people who don't like AI but like technology are some of the strangest people, because it's like, so what are you talking about then? You like steam engines? You like stuff that's not connected to the internet? Because anything that touches the internet today, or that's even even a little bit related to tech, it deals with machine learning, deals with AI. That's the age we're in, and I hate that. It's like, so you hate databases, you hate GPUs processing matrices and outputting it into a database. You hate that when that's the forefront. It'd be like somebody saying they like Bitcoin but they hate cryptography. It's like, but you realize cryptography is what underpins Bitcoin, so you're a contradiction. And so many of these people are a walking contradiction. Welcome everybody. Excuse my dishwasher. It sounds like a fucking monster over there. Getting these wine glasses clean before some people come over. We're gonna do a little celebration. This is a big deal. I feel like I've been othered a little bit. People saying, what are you talking about, all this AI stuff? It's done. By the way, this is a copy of Zuckerberg's AI model, Muse Glimmer. We have the whole thing backed up on here. Isn't that crazy? Like, this is my thought experiment that I like to do on the podcast. You give me one of today's top free AI models, spit me through a time machine back to 2019. I'd get a meeting at Google or somewhere and show it to them. How much would they write a check for the same day? Right? Like $100 billion easily, just to have this. If you go back to 2019, so that shows you how intensely these things are progressing. I mean, even 2020, right? 2020, 2021, to show them this back then, somebody would write you a check for billions of dollars. And that was our concern with the Braid, which is why we released it under an MIT license, so other smart people can help us build it, and they won't feel like we're just cashing in on their effort, so. Yeah, again, today's video is about Zuck, not about just my own little startup. It's mainly about Zuckerberg releasing this incredible free model. And the one that's coming out later in the week from the Chinese competitors is Qwen 3.8. I'm checking right now to see if we have. So Trump says Iran agrees to a deal privately, but they're refusing it publicly. Make it make sense, folks. So they want a deal, but they refuse to acknowledge you publicly. They refuse to talk about a peace deal publicly. Make it make sense. Art of the deal. Oh, and then I had some angry guy in my comments that I had to mute because He's like, this video said it's about AI. You get into politics. Right, I'm allowed to talk about what I want on my channel. That particular video was 95% about AI technology and 5% some concerns about what's happening in my own country. And the fact you're so angry, I already know who you are then. That's a righty tribalist response. If you hear one word of criticism against your 80-year-old Epstein Island god, you hear one word of criticism and you freak out, that shows exactly who you are. It shows you're a tribalist. It shows, more importantly, you don't see me as me. You don't see me as an individual with free speech rights. You just immediately group me in as some other the second you hear criticism of a man who in many respects has failed us, in many respects has absolutely betrayed us. But again, he's got some good policies. I think Kamala would have fucked some stuff up too. It just would have been different stuff. Yeah, so here's what's coming out later this week. If I can get my fucking phone to work. So it says Qwen is designing chips nonstop for 12 hours. Look at that. So you can have Qwen 3.8 just crunch on DNA strands or ASIC chips or financial stuff. Just have it crunch for hours while you sleep or while you sit on your couch. Always on workmate. So this is the Chinese version of what Zuck released, basically. And we'll see how this one stacks up later in the week. Wow. So this is a cool visual. People comparing the capability of the latest open source models. Yeah, don't play these things at chess. It's real boring because they always win. It's not much fun. Yeah, when Trump does something good, I congratulate him on good policy, like leaving the open AI stuff alone. I don't mean the company, I mean open models, open source models, open weights. Leaving this alone, letting people download it without registering or anything goofy. That's a good thing. This is America. You know, like people need to remember this is the place where you're supposed to have some rights. It's one thing in a country like China, which ironically is releasing some of the best AIs in the world. But here in America, we shouldn't even have to ask permission of the White House to release software. It shouldn't even be an issue. I mean, it's good he did the right thing. I always feel bending the knee to him constantly. It's weird. Tim Waltz was right. Tim Waltz was right. You're weirdos. You become a weird movement. No offense. Yeah, I love these tests they're coming up with to see how smart the new free models are. It's just cool. Let's see if I can find some more visuals. Use Glimmer. What a name for an AI, by the way, for an AI model. Muse Glimmer. There it is. So again, why do I care about this? I'm not the biggest Zuckerberg fan. It's more that now there's a lot more credibility in downloading a local AI now that it's coming out from Meta, a $1.5 trillion company, and not from random little team in China and Europe. Another visual test. So in this one, they had them, each of the AIs make a video game with the same prompt, but these are the different video games that each model came up with. So if you don't know, these things can do much more than just chat with you. They can build whole video games. And just like they output a text response, it can output the code for a video game, and then you just run it. Basically, you just package it and run it as an exec file or whatever. Video game, personal video game, based on what you told it to do. Not a lot of viewers. Not good. I think I might start a new channel, or I might just do more stuff on X. Be sure to follow on X if you don't yet. Actually, follow everything down there, the stack and the X account, because I'm going to do less videos. This isn't fulfilling to me. I'm not sure what happened, but again, it's cool that we were able to pull this off. I feel like a one-hit wonder. I don't feel like somebody who has to do AI stuff for the rest of my life. I was just frustrated that there was all this focus on context windows and KV cache compression and whatnot, and yet they're using human text. And it was so obvious to me when the weights of these models, what makes them smart, basically, what makes them what they are, is all mathematical. It's not language. Language is simply used as the substrate to train them on. So they're actually thinking in pure math, basically, processing in pure math. So our idea was the transport layer should be math-based, not human language character set-based, but pure math. And we did tests, and we found that you can actually wrap any concept or any image or any instruction set pretty much in 384 dimensions, like 384 different dials, different numerical values. And you can send that and then unpack it. And it's so much more efficient. So AIs kind of came to be because they had so much language to train on, and the language gave them a sense of logic and a sense of space between different ideas, the latent space between discrete concepts. But the way they're actually doing things is all math. And so we didn't know if we could pull this off. And certainly it's been the advances in AI over the last few months that allowed us to finish this, or would have stayed an incomplete project. But I did well in the crypto days, and I wish I had been more of a leader in terms of the build out of certain things, because I let other people talk for the community, and people over time convinced me I didn't know what I was talking about. But in retrospect, I knew more than almost anybody. And I don't want to make the same mistake in AI. These people who claim to know it all. Well, the whole industry is less than 4 years old. So if you claim you know so much more than I do about AI, that very well might be the truth. But you certainly don't have some mandate to lead when the whole industry is less than 4 years old. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Gold Cheetah. Says that we're putting out genius information on this channel. Well, we try our best. But again, be sure to get my Substack and my follow on X. It's easier for me to write than to do videos. I don't feel like I'm getting the right. I don't know. When I put something out there, I like to get something back. I don't feel like I'm getting the right risk reward scenario here or something. Not that this is a risk, but it's just time spent, If I'm reaching 4 people, I can go downstairs to a restaurant and talk to more than 4 people. I had to say, your attention, please. We have a new version of the braid. Somebody says 4 viewers. It doesn't make sense. I try the best I can. And I hope one day that I'm judged by what I've actually done and what I've actually put out into the world. The ebooks I've written, the investments I've made, the ideas I've researched. I hope I'm judged by that and not by what other people who've never met me say about me and write about me, and by the reach that I have. I hope that the stuff we put out, like those ebooks and Inner Signal Braid, I hope it outlasts me anyways. I hope who I am doesn't really matter. I hope in 30 years it's people using the braid or people happy with AI that's not controlled by one company, in part because we put all the monkey wrenches in the right place at the right time and prevented what looked like it could be bad. That was the other part of getting into AI early, is I didn't want it to be crypto all over again, where over time the shittiest, dumbest people and the ETFs and the bankers who just are in their own little world, they take over. And they're not bad people, they just don't have the vision. So I'll end this one here if there are no other questions or comments. Certainly, it's been a pleasure to do this for the last year. And now I feel like Morgan Freeman at the end of Shawshank Redemption when he meets his buddy on the beach. If you haven't seen it, good movie. I'd say that and Forrest Gump were two of the best movies of the 90s in terms of staying power, right? Of course, The Matrix, I guess, came out in 1999. Or no, it came out in 2001. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody could fact check me. 1999. Okay, thank you. Yeah, do I deserve more than 5 viewers when I'm announcing that the thing I've been intensely working on for the last year is actually working now, actually ready for prime time? I haven't sought any investors. We've been funding it ourselves because I didn't want a bunch of retards on the cap table slowing me down or telling me to make it something that I didn't want to make it. We didn't want to turn it into a sales force. We don't want you to have to sign up and give a credit card to use the braid, because that's not cool. It's just not cool, right? So if Zuckerberg is releasing this stuff for free, and if all these different labs are doing the same thing, why would we try to just scrape some money off the floor? Why not embrace this new kind of post-scarcity thing? You give to me for free, and I give to you for free. So that's it. Thank you, guys. God bless. And again, I can't be judged by my popularity. I can be judged by my research, writing, investment decisions, and free software. God bless.